Are you considering a move to Moore, Oklahoma? Well, in this video, we're actually going to dive into the computer and we'll take a look at Moore on the map. I'll show you some of the different amenities available in and around the suburb of Moore, as well as the best way to get into Oklahoma City and Norman, some of the different routes you might want to take to avoid traffic. And be sure to stick around till the end of the video. I'll show you some of the homes that are available for sale in Moore right now so that you can see what might fit with your budget. And we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about living in Oklahoma City and the surrounding areas like Moore, Oklahoma, then go ahead and subscribe below and tap that notification bell. That way you can be the first to know about the current market in the Oklahoma City metro. My name is Ben and I get contacted every day from people just like you looking for help to make their move to the Oklahoma City area and surrounding suburbs like Moore. And I love helping them do that. Whether your move is coming up in a week, a month, a year, whatever that time frame looks like, I would love to begin a conversation with you and help you figure out which neighborhood, which community would be right for you. Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I would love to help you make a smooth transition to the Oklahoma City area. So like I mentioned, today we're talking about the suburb of Moore, which is located just immediately to the south of Oklahoma City. It's a suburb with a population of about 62,000 folks, and most of those people commute into Oklahoma City for work. But Moore, the town itself, has plenty of amenities. Everything you could need and want is contained right in the community of Moore. So we're going to dive into the computer now and take a look. All right, so as we take a look at the map here, Oklahoma City, you can see, is right in the center of my screen, and then the suburb of Moore is just immediately to the south of Oklahoma City. So as I mentioned, it's very conveniently located close to Oklahoma City. If you are commuting from Moore to Oklahoma City, it's just a straight shot up I-35 here. Now, what I do want to let you know is that this traffic along I-35 can get really bad, especially during morning rush hour, and then again in the late afternoon, early evening rush hour, as folks are commuting into and out of Oklahoma City for work. You'll notice that just to the south of Moore is the suburb of Norman. And Norman is located right here. Again, here's Moore, Oklahoma. Here's Oklahoma City up here. A lot of folks will commute from Norman and Moore into Oklahoma City. And so this, what we call the I-35 corridor here locally, this area becomes extremely congested in the early morning rush hour traffic. And then again, coming back to the south during the late afternoon, early evening rush hour traffic. So one of your best bets, if you are considering a move to the community of Moore or one of these other suburbs surrounding Oklahoma City, is to use some sort of app that is looking at traffic in real time. One of them that I've used oftentimes is called Waze. I think it's W-A-Z-E. Waze is a great app. It monitors traffic in real time, looking at the activity of other Waze users who are out on the road. You can also, I believe Apple Maps now tracks traffic in real time. So you can look at that as well to see what traffic is doing at any given time of day. And the reason I bring that up is because there are multiple options for getting into Oklahoma City from Moore or from Norman besides I-35. And I'll just kind of zoom in here and we'll take a look at some of those. So Santa Fe is this street right here. And it's a major 4-lane road. In many parts through here, it's divided with a turn lane. So that can be an option for getting into Oklahoma City. You also have Shields Boulevard right here. Fun fact about Shields Boulevard, before I-35 was built, this was actually the main route to get from Oklahoma City all the way down to Dallas. That was the main road that folks took back then. But it is an option. Now, it does also become congested during those rush hour times because there are so many folks who are traveling from Moore and from Norman into the Oklahoma City area along this I-35 corridor. Another option that you've got for commuting from Moore into Oklahoma City is Eastern Avenue. Now, depending on which part of Moore you're coming from, that may be the more convenient way to get into Oklahoma City. If you're on the east side of Moore over here, then Eastern Avenue or Bryant Avenue, maybe even Sunny Lane is a great option for getting into Oklahoma City. But if you are on the west side of Moore, then your better options might be Santa Fe Avenue or Penn, Pennsylvania, right over here. Those are options that you could consider as well. But again, you want to use some sort of map app that's monitoring traffic in real time so that you can avoid those really congested areas, especially during the peak traffic times during rush hour. So now we'll zoom in a little bit and take a look at some of the things that are available in Moore. You've really got all of the amenities that you need in the town of Moore. You don't necessarily have to travel into Oklahoma City to certainly for things like groceries. There's plenty of things like Walmart here. There's also a major grocery store chain called Crest in Moore. Moore also has a Costco, which is right here. Here you've got Target, Home Depot, Tractor Supply. And then as far as grab and go kind of food, there are plenty of options in Moore for that. Jersey Mike's, Schlotzsky's. This whole area along 19th Street here just has tons and tons of food options. So you've got plenty of options right here in Moore without having to commute into Oklahoma City. And you can see some more of those options over here on the east side of Moore as well. Now, what you're going to find is that this east side of Moore, so I'm talking about everything east of I-35 here, has not been as developed commercially as the west side of Moore. The east side of Moore is sort of the older part of town of Moore. Most of the new construction stuff you're going to find on the west side of I-35. And so there's not as much on the east side of Moore, but there still are plenty of things over here, like, for example, the Garage, which is a great local chain restaurant. They've got great burgers and beer. And I'll just kind of zoom in here and we'll take a look at some of the things that are available. You've got a Ross, JCPenney, Best Buy. So plenty of things here. Waffle House, Ricky's Cafe. This is a popular Mexican restaurant in Moore, Oklahoma, right here. So plenty of things right here in the community of Moore without having to make the trip up into Oklahoma City. Lots more restaurants right along this area here as well. Now, if you're looking for the sort of outdoor activity life, I mentioned in the pros and cons video that Moore doesn't have a ton of that available. There is a golf course over here, but you're not going to find a ton of like hiking trails or biking trails. There isn't a lake in Moore. So for those things, you're going to have to commute either into Oklahoma City or down to Norman, which again, depending on the time of day that you're making that trek, getting to Norman might be the faster way to go rather than driving into Oklahoma City. So I'll point out a couple of lakes that are popular in this area. Lake Stanley Draper. This is in Oklahoma City. So it's just outside of Moore to the north and east of town. And then let me move the screen here a little bit so we can get a better look. Lake Thunderbird is located right here outside of Norman. So again, here's the community of Moore. Lake Thunderbird is right here. So there are a few different ways to get to Lake Thunderbird. You could come over this way. You could also come down I-35 and make your way over, depending on which part of the lake you want to get to. But again, you don't have those things in the actual community of Moore itself. So if the outdoor life is something you're interested in, you'll just have to make a quick short drive to either Oklahoma City, Norman, Midwest City area for those things. Now, this Orr Family Farm, I want to point this out. This is a great family-friendly spot. They've got a petting zoo there. It's just a really fun, kind of fun for all ages activity for the family. They do fall-themed activities. That's a great spot to bring your family to check out if you're considering a move to Moore, Oklahoma. The Moore Warren Theater, the Regal Warren Theater right here. Let me move the screen. This is an IMAX theater and a very popular movie theater right here in Moore, Oklahoma. So you've got most of the amenities that you need, again, with the exception of that kind of outdoor life. But you've got all the grocery stores that you could want or need located right here in the community of Moore. Plenty of restaurants, plenty of food options, all of that stuff located right here in the city of Moore, Oklahoma. Now, zooming out a little bit, I want to talk about the neighborhoods that are in the community of Moore. Most of your new construction neighborhoods are going to be in this kind of southwest corridor of the suburb of Moore, Oklahoma. Most of the neighborhoods on the east side of I-35 are going to be original, kind of the old town of Moore, if you will, homes built in the 60s and 70s. And then your new construction homes are going to be located over in this area. And as I mentioned in the pros and cons video, Moore is a great place to consider for affordability. The average price of a home in Moore at the time of this recording is $247,000. Now, the average price for a home in Oklahoma City, again, at the time of this recording, is $274,000. So you've got a difference of about $27,000 just by making that short trek down I-35 from Oklahoma City into Moore. Now, again, disclaimer, depending on the time of day, that quote unquote short trek may not be as short as it is at other times of the day, but you've got many options for getting around, getting to Oklahoma City from the community of Moore. Another thing that's great about the location of Moore is its proximity to the airport. So Will Rogers World Airport is located right here. This is in Oklahoma City. It's on the southwest side of Oklahoma City. And so as you can see, it's located very close to Moore. So there are a few different ways that you can get into or get over to the airport from Moore. Again, it really just depends on which part of Moore that you are coming from when you're making that commute. So you can take Highway 37 right here over to I-44 and then come up to the airport that way. And you've got to get into the airport from this side. There's really not a great way to get in on the south side of the airport. So you've got to come up around to the north side of the airport to get in. So that's one route, Highway 37 there. You can also, again, it really just depends on which part of Moore you're coming from. But coming over to I-44 and then up is typically going to be your quickest route to get to the airport. And that drive can take anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes to even longer than that if traffic is bad. Really just depends, again, on the time of day that you are making that trip. And let's take a look at some of the high schools in Moore. I mentioned in the pros and cons video that the website niche.com gives Moore schools a rating of A-. Southmore High School is located over here on the kind of west side of I-35. And then you've got Moore High School, the original, located right here on the east side of I-35. And there are other schools as well. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Here's Westmore High School. Again, there's Southmore, just to give you an idea of the location. And so you've got a total of 3 high schools that serve the suburb of Moore: South Moore High School, West Moore High School, and then Moore High School, the original. And some of these schools are known for their high school sports. The Friday Night Lights is a big thing all over Oklahoma, but especially in some of these suburbs surrounding Oklahoma City. They call it More Wars here when the football teams play each other. And so that's something that's a big deal. If you're considering relocating in part because of high school sports, then you definitely want to have conversations with coaches, athletic directors, and get your important questions answered by these folks before making your move to this area. And then one other thing I'll mention here is that Moore is, in addition to being located close to Oklahoma City, it's also very close to the suburb of Norman. Norman is a really cool city. It's a college town. Oklahoma University is located in Norman, and you're just a quick drive straight down I-35 here to get to Norman. Now, this corridor coming down I-35 to the south from Moore into Norman tends to not get as congested as I-35 does, kind of in this area between Moore and Oklahoma City. Now, in the mornings, you will see a ton of congestion northbound, all the way from Norman to Oklahoma City. But going southbound, generally it isn't quite as bad between Moore and Norman. And there's lots of great stuff to do here in Norman. As I mentioned earlier, the outdoor activities, you've got a lot of those, things like lakes and hiking trails, plenty of great parks in the area of Norman. And the campus area itself, Oklahoma University's campus, is just beautiful. And there's lots of cool like coffee shops, things like that, plenty of stuff to do in and around Norman. And so, as I mentioned, there's plenty of amenities available in the suburb of Moore, but there's also some really cool, unique kind of one-off stuff in Norman, Oklahoma. So you're located, again, very close to Norman from Moore, just a short drive right down I-35. All right, so let's take a look at some of the homes that are for sale in Moore right now so that you can see just how far your budget goes in the suburb of Moore. I have not vetted these at all, so we're just going to dive in and see what we find out here. So this first one is listed at $150,000. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, 1,120 square feet. It was built in 1960, and it's coming in at $133 per square foot. Let's see where this one is located. Okay, so we're kind of right in the center here, just to the west of I-35. Actually, that's kind of south central Moore, right here. And we'll go back up here and take a look at some of the pictures so that you can see what $150,000 gets you in the suburb of Moore, Oklahoma. So 1960s, you can see a lot of original brickwork, original woodwork, original cabinets. So depending on your taste and your style, you may want to do some updating to a home like this. But at $150,000, your real estate dollars are really going pretty far here. If you are relocating from an area like California or Texas or Washington State, you know that the price per square foot is much higher in those areas than what you're seeing right here. And so for $150,000, there's a good chance that you've still got some room in your budget to make some upgrades to the home and really kind of modernize it. All right, let's look at $249,000. What does $249,900 get us in Moore, Oklahoma? This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, 1,709 square feet, built in 2007, and this one's at $146 per square foot. Let's take a look at the location real quick. So this one is on the east side of I-35 and just north of 19th Street, which is kind of the major thoroughfare that runs east and west through the suburb of Moore. Let's take a look at the pictures here and see what 249.9 gets us in Moore, Oklahoma. So just kind of giving you an idea here of what 249.9 gets you in Moore. You can see how far your real estate dollars go here. Okay, let's take a look at maybe one more. See if we can find something a little higher in price. Let's look at this one. This one's listed at $408,000. It's 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,650 square feet. It was built in 2010, and it's coming in at $153 per square foot. Let's take a look at the location. So this one is actually pretty far east in Moore. In fact, I believe Sunny Lane right here is the dividing line between Moore and Oklahoma City, if I'm not mistaken. So we're really kind of far east side of Moore here with this home that was built in 2010. We'll take a look at the photos here, see what $408,000 will buy you in the suburb of Moore. Beautiful landscaping on this one. It's a great kind of outdoor kitchen setup on the patio there. Little fire pit area. And we've got a converted attic here for some extra living space. So plenty of room. If you've got a family, something like this might work for you. Let's do one more. I want to find one of the new construction homes on the west side of Moore. So here's one that's newly built in 2023. It's listed at $441,000. 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,315 square feet. So it's coming in right at $190 per square foot. Taking a look at the location, we can see that this one is on the southwest side of Moore. There's a lot of new construction happening in this area. This Talavera subdivision is mostly new homes built within the last few years. There's also some new construction happening on the far east side of Moore, just right on the border with Oklahoma City, like I mentioned earlier. But lots of new construction happening right here in this area where the Talavera subdivision is. Let's take a look at these photos and see what $441,000 gets you in 2023 in Moore, Oklahoma. So this one's brand new, never been lived in before. It's got the open concept kitchen and living area. And the finishes look pretty high end. So hopefully this gives you kind of an idea of how far your real estate dollars go in a suburb like Moore, Oklahoma. That's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you are considering a move to the Moore area, I would love to have a conversation and help you figure out which neighborhood might be best for you. Whether you're planning to move in a month, a year, whatever your time frame looks like, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd be happy to help you make a smooth transition to the Moore area. Thanks again for watching this video, and remember, until next time, with living in Oklahoma City, your dream home is just around the corner. I'll see you in the next video.